As you see, the teams are shaking hands. We're getting ready for draw number 4 action on Sheet D. The 3-0 Kristen McDermott team out of the Halifax Curling Club taking on the team Julie McEvoy, 1-2 out of the CFB Curling Club. Welcome everybody to the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. My name is Dan Hobson, joined alongside here by John Seitman. And we were talking off air, you said this should be a good one here. McDermott 3-0, McEvoy 1-2, and I guess you could say that it's not really too much of a surprise to see McDermott at 3-0. So I guess let's get your thoughts on this one here as we are just about seconds away from getting underway here in the last draw of the day.
Yeah, this should be a really good game here, Dan. Kristen McDermott has played extremely well all season. Having won the OVCA Fall Classic and placed third in a few other major events as well. But again, Julie McEvoy is coming off a really strong season as well, winning the first spot in the Scotties qualifiers to get here into this tournament. So both teams are going to be playing really well tonight. It was a slow start for McEvoy, but it's a long tournament to go. It is only the fourth draw of the tournament, so anything can happen.
And McEvoy will have the hammer here in number 1, throwing the yellow stone, so we'll get a chance to meet the Kristen McDermott team, and there is their lead. Getting some final instructions here from the officials before getting underway. That is Julia Coulter. The second is Liz Woodworth. Third, Marie Christensen, and skipped by Kristen McDermott. Head coach is Danny Christensen, and their fifth member, Kelly Backman.
And here's the interesting thing, actually, with the McDermott team. When this event, the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, was last held here in Dartmouth, this team was skipped by Kelly Bachman and made the semifinals of this event. So they are showing that they are repeating history so far. Really good play from them.
Here is Jill Thomas, the lead here for the McEvoy team. They curl out of the CFB Curling Club. The second is Sheena Moore. Third, Daniel Parsons, and skipped by Julie McEvoy, as Parsons is new to this team with plenty of curling experience out of the CFB Curling Club.
And this end seems like it's starting off pretty textbook style, just exchanging hits, pretty simple.
Coulter, as we all know, is married to Travis Coulter, who plays in the men's side of things.
Yeah, Travis and Julia have done really well playing on the mixed doubles circuit as a couple, and of course now a married couple, and both playing extremely well in this sport in the 2-player and 4-player system.
And as you mentioned, we're off to the the clean start here in the early going. Of course, running down, the standings here so far. We said McDermott 3-0. She's had wins over Marianne Arsenault, Colleen Jones, and Isabel Ladouceur. So, as you say, this is the fourth one here. And doing pretty well here so far at the championships, and really not too much surprise, having a pretty good season, as you mentioned off the top, and second in the rankings, and you mentioned about some of the strong finishes that they've had as well. So running down the McEvoy, how her championships are going, got off to a bit of a slow start, but she had to face Colleen Jones and Marianne Arsenault. Of course, Jones doing third rocks here at the championships and doing some sweeping, so it's actually Nancy Delahunt's team. 7-4 was the loss for McEvoy, and then followed up with a loss to Marianne Arsenault and a big win this afternoon to stay away from that third loss, and that's pretty well what is the plan here today, is try to stay out of that one with a win over Pinckney. Pinckney started off with a win against Breen, and now is on a 2-game losing streak, and of course we've got other games taking place as we are still clean here in number 1 with McEvoy having the hammer, throwing the yellow stones.
Yeah, as you do say there, Dan, because of it being draw 4, it is very important for those teams with 3 losses, if they want to have a chance to potentially keep their chance at a tiebreaker or the playoffs in play, they really need to start getting some wins. So the 1 and 2 teams are really on the brink. The 0 and 3s are really needing to get the wins here. Critical Wednesday night.
Yeah, Ladysur is the only 0-3 team, and McDiarmid, as I mentioned, 3-0. Arsenault 2-1. Brothers 2-1. Jones 2-1, and Breen 1-2. McEvoy 1-2, and Pinckney 1-2. And as I mentioned, Ladysur at 0-3. And they definitely want to, 4-3. That's tight whether you're going to get in, to get into like the playoffs after the draws, after the 7 draws that they have. So that's going to be difficult.
It is extremely difficult to get in with a 4-3 record, but again, it is possible. We have seen tiebreakers in this event with 4-3 records, so not out of the question, but it is a challenge. But in order to have the chance to get there, you need to get the wins to get there.
And once again, Daniel Parsons and Jill Thomas working hard on this one.
Yeah, they're going to need to work hard to get that over the hog line here.
And they do. And just like that, they had discussed what they were going to do in terms of a shot, and now they'll just get rid of this guard there. That's on the wings. As we're into third rocks, here's Marie Christensen.
Sweeper signaling a little bit up on the weight, so it will just get the hit and roll out.
So as you said, pretty well the start that we were expecting, and pretty well seen throughout. A lot of these teams want to see if there's been a change in ice conditions compared to, of course, the afternoon and morning draws, and sometimes in the evenings, of course, people are off work, so what do? They grab a couple of their friends, they head down to the curling club, so there's actually a lot of people there down at ice level, a lot of people close to our broadcast location too, so I mean, that of course will create humidity and may make it a little bit of an issue, but ice has been pretty good and fantastic, pretty well since the start of the championships.
Yeah, and it will be surprisingly different than what our viewers may have seen there from the earlier draw, simply because of, yes, it is colder outside and there are a lot more people here in the building, and just that little bit can be enough to throw people off. But again, with these 2 very experienced teams, I think that maybe even the littlest of potential difference could be a factor in who could win or lose this game.
As this one from Christensen's on its way, as I said, there's 3 other games taking place. Sheet C sees Team Pinckney versus Team Ladysur, and Sheet B, Team Arsenault versus Team Delahunt. A couple of 2-1 teams there. And Sheet E is Team Brothers versus Team Breen. Breen at 1-2, Brothers at 2-1. And now there's one blue stone belonging to MacDiarmid in the back.
And all these games tonight are really going to be some exciting matchups. Having the match between Arsenault and Delahunt or Jones, they're the battle of the former teammates and world champions over there. And then Ladysur, the youngest team ever to make it into this tournament, facing off against the former world senior champion and a few former junior provincial champions with Pinckney's new team here. And of course, Brothers and Breen, a former semifinal match, a rematch over there on E. So we'll try to keep you updated on that as this draw 4 of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts goes along.
Well, this is the Make Hay Wednesday, I like to call it here. If you're going to make a move, if you're one of the teams that, of course, started with a little bit of a struggle, it's time to, move up in the standings. And also for the some of the other top teams here is make sure that you don't come back to the rest of the pack, and that's the case here for McDiarmid as your throw here in 1 is on its way. Teams pretty well exchanging shots here in the first.
Yeah, looks pretty good here. Just gets the hit, gets the stick.
McEvoy making her way up. Pretty good crowd on hand, as you see. That's down at ice level. Of course, we're up here and second floor. Is the first of 2 from Julie McEvoy out of the CFB Curling Club on its way here, and in number 1, she has the hammer. Moore with light brushing. Thomas there. Moral support. Giving her motivation as well, and they'll get a little bit of a roll.
And that's going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. The seconds are both really phenomenal players. With Liz Woodworth, a very strong former junior competitor, and a Sheena Moore, who has been one of the best seconds in the past few years here in Nova Scotia. The second tends to be a position that can be interesting either way, so it'll be one that we'll be watching their performance as the game goes on.
McDermott with her last here in 1. Light brushing there from Coulter and Woodworth. Bang on. Sits the tee line. It's funny, we were sort of like talking off air about this, and of course last year, we were at these championships at the Mayflower Curling Club, and this is where the slight change comes, is that Thomas used to hold the broom for McEvoy on her final stones in the end. This year it's Daniel Parsons, so Thomas now, of course, can be the front end. There she is with the blue glasses.
Yeah, Danielle has had a lot of experience holding the broom, so seeing Jill move down to sweep for Julie is not a surprise. Really strong sweeper too, so we'll see how it goes for them.
Final stone for McEvoy here in 1. Nice shot there. And they'll stick it there for the single point. Take 1 here and in 1. Dermot with hammer in 2.
Yeah, a little bit surprising there. I didn't expect really for McEvoy to take the single point. But again, we only know what we know up in our heads up here, so we'll see how it plays out. But McEvoy with a single in 1. It could be an interesting sign with McDermott with the hammer in 2.
Delahunt and Arsenault. And Arsenault starting out with a 2 in the first, 2-0 over Delahunt as they are on sheet B. And nothing to report there in the Pinckney-Ladouceur game so far. And they're just into skip rocks here on the sheet right next to us, which is E, between Brothers and Breen. Not much brushing here on this throw by Thomas from Moore and Parsons. And they'll bring that one into the rings.
Yeah, again, pretty open to start off the game. Again, these 10-end games are a little bit different than what a lot of our viewers may see when they watch a lot of the major events, which have now been moving to 8 ends. You have to be a little bit more patient and maybe play a little bit more of a conservative style. Lots of time to make the plays.
They'll roll toward the wings here. And the yellow handle stone of McEvoy's there. "16 wins and 10 losses according to the World Tour statistics here for Julie McEvoy. And as you mentioned off the top, doing very well. Finished third at the New Scotland Clothing Ladies Cash Spiel, which is held at their own home rink at the CFB Curling Club in Halifax, and defeated Joe Brothers 6-5 at the Spitfire Arms Cash Spiels in Windsor, and that was back in November.
And they had a really tight game to qualify for this event in the A position. If I remember correctly, they beat Colleen Jones 3-2, and they actually had blanks the first 5 ends of a 10-end game. So,
oh, that was almost pretty well old school now, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty old school style, but again, what matters is who gets the most points on the board by the end of that 10 ends of play. So now you're going to see a little bit of a change now with the corner guard put up. Now Julie's going to want to try to play a hit and roll onto that and try to split out the house a little bit.
Sheena Moore.
Looks pretty good here.
Light cleaning from Parsons. And they'll put the yellow right there to set the 2 and remove the blue stone. So I've seen lots of these events on TV, and the term that some of the broadcasters use, John, is game on, so game on.
Yeah, now you're going to see a lot more offense simply in the fact that now McEvoy has 2 of her yellow split on either side of the house. It will force Team MacDiarmid to make a play onto the stone on the edge. If they can get a nice roll, it would be a good result, but it looks like it's going to stick.
Liz Woodworth gets a little bit of a roll. And without any hesitation, McEvoy asking a play to be made on the stone just thrown there by Liz Woodworth.
And that's pretty much in Sheena's wheelhouse of being able to make those really nice medium weight hits. She makes them look easy, even when they're the most complicated shots that you can get.
Teams exchanging shots here in 2. Light brushing there from the front end there from Christensen and Coulter. Shooter's going to go bye-bye here, and does. They were unable to stick it there.
So you're going to see Julie's going to call for a draw into the house, try to split the rocks a little bit, just enough so that there's some separation. Doesn't want to have a chance to set up a double for the MacDiarmid rink because Marie Christensen at third is really good at making those, so we'll have to see.
Daniel Parsons here in 2. McEvoy took a single point in the first end.
Sweepers working hard on this. They wanted top 12 at least.
Good work there by Moore and Thomas. It'll be just a piece of the 8. Marie Christensen here as we're in the third stones in number 2. Not much done here. Now, of course, they're getting on it there. Coulter and Woodworth. And for a second time, well, we'll see. You'll have to wait to see, but I think the shooter will go out. Yep, so back-to-back hit and rollouts there for the McDiarmid team of the Halifax Curling Club.
So it's pretty much setting up like a position where Julie's going to be able to force Kristen to take a single point. It's been pretty much setting up that Kristen at the end will have to face 2 on her final stone unless something changes. So we'll see, but it's a pretty good result from Julie so far.
This one probably went deeper than what they really wanted. So they have one on the 12 and the 8-foot line too. Here is McEvoy.
Yeah, they really didn't want that one to go past the tee line. Now this gives the opportunity for Kristen to be able to play a freeze with this stone from Marie Christensen to potentially get out of this end with a 2 if they get it just perfect. It's going to need to have a lot of curl, which we haven't yet seen as many of these cross center lines so far this early in the game.
There you can see that they're yelling out instructions in terms of where they think they are. Light scrubbing here from the front end. Coulter, Woodworth.
Going to need that one to come down just a little bit more here.
And just a tad, a little bit heavy there. They have a little separation to pick that out, as McEvoy has. The thing with freezes is just really got to be perfect, or you leave this situation that you see right now where they get picked that out in by 3.
Yeah, it was a bit too much weight, just a little bit. It was just enough that it gave that little bit of space for Julie to be able to get it out, stick, sit the 3, and really the force is on for McEvoy to force Kristen to take a single.
Why this throw from McEvoy is on its way down. Update on sheet E. Green took a single point there. Leads 1-0 over Brothers. That's early. Blanken 1, Ladouceur and Pinckney, so nothing to report there. And nothing new in terms of our last update from sheet B. Arsenault got 2 in 1, so it is 2-0 as they play continues on there.
This is an interesting position here for the first stone from Kristen McDiarmid. Even though Julie is sitting the 2, it seems like it's lined up pretty good that they could try to play a double onto this. It's at least going, they're at least going to try to go for the hit and stick. If they're the least bit tight, it may get the double. You never know.
The smooth delivery here of Kristen McDiarmid here in 2. And the front end, Coulter, Woodworth on it as soon as it's been released. gets one of them, but once again, that's been the story. Third time that they've rolled out here, this team.
Yeah, definitely wanted to, if they were going to get a roll anywhere, they wanted to probably roll the other way. Now the fact that you're rolled out, it gives a chance for Julie to place another one back in, and the force is on.
It's an interesting story there in one of the games that we had today between Breen and Arsenault. It just seemed like every time it was last rock, the skip was facing 2. And if McEvoy gets this where she wants, we'll see that situation again with McDermott facing 2 of the hammer here in the second end.
And this match is really good with the 4 stone throwers as well, because Julie has been really playing extremely well ever since moving up to skip just a few years ago, after playing a few years as vice for Jocelyn Nix. And then Kristen McDermott, after moving up to skip this team, has also been playing phenomenal. So they're in for a treat.
Parsons and Thomas go hard and drag that right to the top 12. Good work by them. But the thing is, for McDermott, she has pace of the 4, even close to the 8, closer towards the 4. She'll be all right to get her single point. So she's got lots of room to work with, and as you see, nice clean path to get there.
Yeah, pretty much full 8 is what she needs for her single point.
Final stone, Kristen McDermott of the Halifax Curling Club. Has a perfect record coming into tonight. McEvoy hoping to put her into a 1-loss column here. Heads down. They'll just bump that yellow and get their single point. So 1-1's where we stand after 2.
Kind of puzzled me there why they were sweeping that a little bit extra there. It's simply the fact that they needed needed top 8 in order to get their single. It may be a potential just a research shot, so to speak, just to get a feel for how that part of the ice plays. But still, got the result, single point end, and we're all tied up after 2.
Right back where we started from, even Steven, and McEvoy had the hammer to start the game. McEvoy has the hammer here in third, throwing yellow stones. Julia Coulter, as we mentioned, of course, married to Travis Coulter, 26 years old, curling for 13 years, a CPA accountant at Efficiency 1, and quite a resume in curling. 2015 Nova Scotia Mixed Doubles Champion. And as we first mentioned, her husband's Travis. 2012, 2011, 2010 AUS and CIS Curling Championships, bronze in 2011, silver in 2010. Puts that right there, the top 12. So they've elected to come into the rings here in number 3.
Yeah, both teams not really taking very many risks early. So we're keeping with the conservative style play, a few hits now.
Hit and roll. And with that last little spin, we'll come back and stay in the 12-foot area. looks like they're going to be exchanging shots pretty well. Has been the game plan all along for both of these teams in the first two, and doesn't look to be much of a change here in third. Coulter once again. To the outside of the rock and loses a shooter, but the Yellowstone moved out of play as well, so we're clean once again, John.
Yeah, as we see the stone from Jill Thomas, an update from our game on sheet C. It appears that Isabelle Ladouceur picked up a 2 in the second. It was a pretty packed house all the way through their second end until Mary McKetton Driscoll made a great tap to really shut down the end a little bit and limit the damage, because it was almost 4 over there. So Liz is going to just, again, keep with the hit style. She's going to peel that guard out. Gets the hit, rolls out, well executed.
Five stones in, 5 stones gone bye-bye. Sheena Moore here. Thomas and Parsons hold the line here on this shot. They throw up a corner guard, and even before it comes to a stop, Christian McDermott goes out there and wants it removed. Here is a 30-year-old Liz Woodworth, has been curling for 18 years, 13 minus 18 since the age of 12. She's a digital designer for Brave New World, 2007 provincial junior champion team Mary Christensen, and they are now teammates. And she successfully removes Yellowstone, and the shooter goes out of play as well. Brothers bounces back with a 2-2, so she goes ahead of Breen 2-1 as they play the third.
So again, you're going to see this stone from Sheena. They're going to try to replace it again at the top 8. Sweeper's not touching this one, so they're just going to dust it in, it appears.
Just puts the brakes on in time. Updating sheet B. Of course, Marianne Arsenault, Nancy Delahunt. Delahunt got 2 in 2, so it's 2-2 as they play the third over there on sheet B. A couple of 2-1 teams. One hoping to improve to 3-1. Nice brushing here by the McDermott team. Remove the rock and push their blue up there in the 12-foot area.
So Julie's now calling for appears like a hit and roll. I don't know their signals a little bit, but it appears like it's probably about bumper weight, just enough to push it just enough here. So looks pretty good out of her hand.
Nice cleaning and do get a bit of a roll. facial expressions here for Kristen McDermott never changes. It's like you could never tell if she's up by 2 or 3 or if she's down by 2 or 3. It's pretty well poker face.
Yeah, she is very level-headed in how she plays. You can never really see it either way. And again, that's a little bit of that sports psychology of not letting stuff get to you, because as a skip, you need to have that cool demeanor when you get that last rock in your hands with the game on the line.
Just saw Marie Christensen, a 29-year-old, 23 years of curling experience. She's a registered massage therapist at Brickyard Health and 2016 provincial champion in PEI. Yeah, she's been everywhere. If you ever heard that song before, 2015 provincial mixed champion, Newfoundland, and 2010 provincial runner-up for Nova Scotia, and has curled for St. Mary's University in 2009-2010, the CIS runner-up, and 2007 and 2009 provincial junior champion, Nova Scotia as skip with her teammate Liz Woodworth, and that was in 2007.
Yeah, Marie's been a really great addition to the team, and as you say, she has been everywhere and has a lot of experience, especially having made it to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, representing Prince Edward Island, and now looking to hopefully keep up a strong record in this tournament and maybe have a chance to represent Nova Scotia as well.
We talked about her, Kristen McDermott, 31 years old. Been curling since the age of 5, 26 years. She's accountant, CPA at CFFI Ventures, Inc. 2006 New Brunswick provincial champion for Andrea Kelly, 3-time New Brunswick junior provincial champion for Andrea Kelly as well, 2002, 2004, 2005, and in 2005 provincial junior champion New Brunswick and Canadian champion bronze at World Juniors. What were you doing when you were 5 years of age?
I don't even remember sometimes. I know I didn't start curling until I was about 14, so I have lots more curling experience than I have so far.
Yeah, when you see some of these stats and see that some of them are just like starting at the age of 4, 5, and 6, it's like, that's impressive. It's like, and I said, I never did anything like impressive like that at the age of 5.
And that's truly a great sign for the sport when you have somebody, a young star like Kristen, who at 31 has curled for 26 years. Like, that is truly a good sign for our sport when you have these very experienced young players who are dominating the circuit and could be future national champions coming out of Nova Scotia.
McEvoy with the help of Thomas and Marr, pardon me. Little roll to the 8-foot behind the tee line. Yeah, so pretty well Christian trying to, you've seen, we talked about her having success, you know, for New Brunswick, hoping to maybe represent Nova Scotia here at the Scotties. And off to a good start, 3-0, pretty well up top. Number 1, the standings coming into the draw. And as I said, McEvoy wants to bring McDermott back to the rest of the pack. McDermott with her last year in 3. It's a piece of it, and we'll be back 12.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that area of the ice. It's a little bit further back in the house, so it hasn't been where they've gone so far this game, but we'll have to see how it reacts, especially on it appears like they're probably going to try to blank this end.
Take a look at Daniel Parsons here, who will hold the broom here for this throw. Julie McEvoy, final stone, end number 3. Light brushing there from Moore.
Looks good from here. Will it get there?
Yep.
There you go.
Blank in 3. Our first blank here in this one. McEvoy hammered to end 4. In a 1-1 game. He said to everybody it would be a good one. Haven't seen tons of rocks in play yet, but you have a funny feeling that there will be by the time this one's said and done, John.
Yeah, it's definitely, they're really pacing themselves a little bit. You're going to start to see as you get toward this end, being that getting close to about halfway through the game, they're probably going to take a few more risks, and maybe put some more rocks in play, and start putting the pressure on to try to score some multiples. Appears though with this first one from Julia Coulter, it does look like they're okay. It will come to be probably about a middle way guard. Good result.
Here is 42-year-old Jill Thomas, resides in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, egg producer with Scotia Poultry Farm Limited, 2009 Nova Scotia Scotties Provincial Champion, and 2010, so back-to-back there for her. And she's actually did color commentating for TV1 for one game, and she was fantastic at that. She was like nervous getting on, before on air, and I said, you'll be fine. He hit it right out of the park.
Yeah, Jill's a great mind for the game. Really knows a lot about how to really play a good game and call a good game. And after now having some great success the past few years with Julie, hopefully looking to rebound in this tournament.
Christensen and Woodward working hard, earning their pay on this one. Are they going to get past that blue one? Boy, they may have the smallest of touch, if ever. Back 8.
That was really good sweeping work there from Christensen and Woodworth, being able to get it just scrape by that guard and roll to the back 8. Good result.
Yeah, if somebody does a shot like that, they said, that's just exactly how I planned it. You can sort of say that afterwards.
For sure. Now
might have been tense moments for them before him. It's like, that's exactly how I drew it up.
So now you're going to see Jill's going to try to play the come around draw. If you can get this buried really nice in the top 8, it would really put some pressure on. Okay, didn't curl as much as we had thought it would probably.
Well, if you like those Scotties Hearts logo right in the middle of the button, they're sort of blocked out there by that yellow stone. It just came down. You see easily accessible here. Julia Coulter.
So Julia's playing here, trying to roll it away.
It's actually Liz, our mistake there.
Oh, correction. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. That was mine.
So Liz just rolled away there, enough to still sit 2. So that will force Sheena's shot to try to come around the guard again. They're really fighting some very tight curl compared to what we're probably used to here at Dartmouth. it's a little bit different, being that we're using different rocks than what would normally be used here at the club. It being that we're using the NSCA rocks, which react a little bit differently compared to what you would see for club rocks.
Sheena Moore, the 39-year-old, and we'll send a shout out to all the fine folks watching back in Bootleggers Point, Nova Scotia. 20 years involved in the sport. Architect at FMB Architecture Interior Design, and 2009 Nova Scotia Scotties Provincial Champion, and also 2014 Nova Scotia Intermediate Provincial Champion, and 2015 a Mixed Doubles Champion.
Yeah, Sheena's been around the block and has really played extremely well in every discipline.
So one blue stone belonging to MacDiarmid here. The only thing that's in the rings here in this fourth end.
So Sheena's going to want to try to play that come around draw, try to get behind the guard. It's going to need to get a little bit more weight here because it's not coming over like they really want.
They're going hard as they can. It'll put its brakes on there, sitting on the center line in the top 12.
Yeah, definitely didn't get the curl that they had wanted. They really wanted it as far behind the guard as possible. So it's open enough there that Kristen can call for Marie to play the hit.
And they're right on it there, the front end, as soon as it's released. Coulter and Woodworth. Nice brushing. Removes the yellow, sets two for the meantime. I said earlier in the broadcast, she has plenty of experience in curling, maybe new to this team. We'll introduce you to Daniel Parsons here, the 27-year-old of Halifax. And there she is, right on cue. 18 years of curling experience, designer at Kent Building Supplies. So if you're looking to get maybe build a home and you want it to be designed, you know somebody. Let's get to her curling accomplishments now. 2007 Canada Winter Games representing Nova Scotia. 2008 provincial champion. And 2008, busy year for her, Canadian junior bronze medalist. 2011 Nova Scotia Scotties provincial champion and a bronze medalist once again the Canadian Scotties in 2011. 2012 Nova Scotia Scotties provincial champion. 2013 she was with New Brunswick for her provincial championship, and 2014 as well.
Yeah, Danielle's had a lot of great success, especially having coming out of the Canada Games back in 2007. That was probably one of the more star-studded Canada Games of years past. That was one of the years, if I remember my curling history correctly, that was the one that Rachel Homan won the gold medal. Great addition to this Julie McEvoy ring. So that was a great result there from Kristen's team to get that behind the guard pretty buried. So it forces a big play out of Marie to really, actually correction, Danielle, to play at that stone at the top 8.
As you see, she's going to come down and talk to Julie about it.
Yeah, definitely important to just take the time there to understand how the skip wants the shot to go. and have the confidence to be able to agree with it to make it, because again, no matter how physical this sport may be, it's also very mental in the fact that you need to have that belief that you can take whatever shot is called for you and make it.
Of course, we've got action on sheet C that Bell 5 TV1 is covering, and they are tied at 2. Colleen Pakeney, Isabel Ladouceur. Arsenault on top 3-2 over Della Hunt. That Della Hunt team also known as the Colleen Jones team. And Brothers 3-1 over Breen as we are here in draw 4 of the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts. 1-1, here we are on sheet D.
Sweepers are really working on this as best they can.
And they will rub that blue one out front. But can they race it there to the rings? Looks like it there from the camera view.
Still a tough result there. They really wanted to get past the guard, to have a bit of a chance to cut out that stone at the edge of the 8-foot in the back. It's a great chance for Kristen to be able to find a way to lock one in tight and really put the pressure on for Julia on her final stones.
You see the blues are pretty well buried. One's buried, as you see. I have one in the back 12. That, of course, is curling 101. Any rock that belongs to you that is behind the tee line, not really your friends. And so right now, that one in the 12-foot area, you see just through the corner of your screen, is just a little bit lonely and nobody wants to play with it. For now. Could be for the full end, but
yeah, I don't really.
We'll have to wait and see.
I don't really see them playing for that area. Yeah. It seems that this spot in the ice is just probably the better spot to play. It may get a little bit of extra curl depending on how Kristen throws it here. She's going to want to try to get a full four or just behind the tee line back 8. Sweepers
Coulter
working on it here.
Yeah, it was Coulter, now Woodworth joining in. They're brushing it, taking her hard, dragging her girls, dragging it. Look at that, and they have a pretty of a shot right now, lying 3.
Yeah, that was a great result. To go now sitting 3. It really puts a lot of pressure on as to where you can really draw. So you're pretty much going to see Julie's going to try to almost play the same shot there that Kristen had, but on the other side of the sheet. Try to get past that yellow of her own and try to drag it as far as you can to get it to the 4-foot.
Julie makes her way up ice. A little final instruction there for Danielle Parsons. Both teams pretty well hanging around the 26-minute mark, as you see, ticking off. With the amount of hits we've had, of course, has made things pretty well move pretty quickly here. As we are coming up to about an hour into this one. In a 1-1 game. McEvoy with the hammer here, getting ready for her first of 2. And it is on its way.
So with this one, with the weight that it's going, it looks like It's going to be a little bit heavier. But again, that spot they haven't really gone to, so it may come down.
Christensen right there. Well, if anything, it at least makes it so that only McDermott's line 2 is that we'll cancel out that one that's in the back 12 that belonged to McDermott. So line 2 now is McDermott here in the 4th.
Yeah, that's at least the best thing about that shot is simply in the fact that now you know.
Now I look at it, I'm not too sure of that now.
I kind of favor the blue for the 3rd.
Yes,
it's just
I'm
that
looking
little
at
bit.
it now, so we'll get another look at it. So you're right. So it's still 3, so my apologies. I got to start to get curling odds, John. I was like,
yeah, either way here, with that shot from Julie, it gives her a little bit of an idea on the ice that she has to go for her final shot, because chances are she's probably going to have to draw a full 4 for her single point. So if Kristen can lock one in nice to block that path, it would really put Julie under pressure with the hammer.
Kristen McDermott out of the Halifax Curling Club with her last here in 4.
Sweepers on and off here. So it looks pretty close.
Well, that's the situation that McEvoy's facing here of her last.
And that was
facing
a
4
great
McDermott.
result.
Yes.
So now that really puts so much pressure on Julie that she pretty much has to take pretty much the same ice as she had for her last shot that she had there, and try to get enough of it, take enough off of the weight, just enough to get it to that stone at the back of the 4-foot to try to score your single. Lots of pressure for the skip out of the CFB Halifax Curling Club.
Yeah, excellent point, my friend. Racing 4 here in 4. The final stone for Julie McEvoy at the CFB Curling Club.
It's a big challenge because even if she came to rest on the stone at the back of the 8-foot, I don't believe it would be shot. So she's going to need it to curl as much as she can once it gets past that guard.
They've not laid a brush to this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big 4 put on the board there. So now, of course, with that, of course, 5-1 as we head to the 5th, and all of a sudden the things have got a little bit quiet here behind us, and I guess, doesn't matter whether you're, of course, parents of both teams or fans of both teams. That is a bit of a shocker what we just seen.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a shocking miss there. But again, being that it's so early in the game, you really can play out of a deficit like this. You're only 4 points down. You can try to get at least a 2 with last rock in this end, then force Team McDermott to a single, and then try to score multiple again, and you're back in the game. So definitely not the end, but it's a very tough challenge going into the second half of the game.
Well, I'm sort of glad that it's starting to get a little bit louder around here, because there's nothing worse than hearing us talk, to each other. It's just sort of eerie, so things getting back to normal here as we're underway here in end number 5.
Yeah, it's great to see a good atmosphere out here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. it's a big event to have the Scotties Tournament of Hearts and the Deloitte Tankard both together here at the Dartmouth Curling Club for the first time in the combined era. So we'd love to see you out here. It's great value to watch some exciting curling as these 16 teams, 8 men, 8 women, try to represent our province at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts and the Tim Hortons Brier. But if you can't make it out here to the Dartmouth Curling Club on Canal Street in downtown Dartmouth, we'd love to keep having you tune in here on Bell Line TV1, as we'll be bringing you the action all the way through to Championship Sunday.
I guess the best piece of advice I could tell you here with our location is be nice to everybody, because they're right close to you. If you say something bad about maybe one of their favorites, they can give you a nice little smack on the side of the head just to give you full warning.
Yeah, I can definitely get a little bit eerie once you get to the tight parts of the game, as I see a few hand gestures from the fans right next to me. I'll leave it up to the interpretation of the viewers what those gestures may have been.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
I wouldn't either. So you're starting to see a little bit of a more offensive style with the corner guards being put in place by the Julie McEvoy ring. Kristen McDermott sitting 2, so this is really trying to set up as much offense as Julie can here. Now with the free guard zone out of play, you're going to start to see some peels.
Well, we talked about it. We're like getting to that halfway point of this draw here, so you know that the players are definitely watching and looking over this one. They haven't put the score up yet, but they may raise a few eyebrows or two once they do. As we're here in 5.
Yeah, mentally for the McEvoy rank, you're really going to want to try to get at least a multiple back if you can, to just get back to that right state of mind going into the 5th end break, because even when you're down going into the 5th end break, things can change in the second half of a very long 10-end game of curling. So you really need that little boost with a multiple.
Well, if they have some cardiac kidism in them, I'm sure they do. That's the time to show it.
Looks like there's a bit of a barn burner going on C, a blank end in 4 between Colleen Pinckney and Isabelle Ladouceur.
Well, I mean, those teams were pretty well, let's face it here. Like Ladouceur, she's 0-3. Really, she goes to 0-4. That's, 3 and 4 playoffs definitely not in her picture, so she's trying to keep those alive, those faint hopes alive, and Pinckney does not want to drop to 1 and 3, so
and they're
going to go tooth and nail in that one. And
this is such a great experience for the Ladouceur rink, having qualified as the youngest team in the history of this tournament. A lot of people coming in probably would discount that team as not having as much of a chance, but they're truly showing that they can take the best of teams in this province to their limits, and even at 0-3, they still are very much in this tournament. So now you're going to see Julie's going to try to play into the house here. Probably going to want to roll here. So you're going to see a hit and roll from Sheena.
Thomas and Parsons here. Bump that second one. So they're not lined up as they used to be after that throw. McDermott still lying 2 here in 5. Vote hammer, but Beak steal 4 and in 4, and I've say that I've been here for a few days now, and when that happened, I've never seen the club so quiet. It was like everybody's jaw was all dropping right at the same time, like synchronized jaw dropping.
Yeah, because really nobody expects it at this tournament, big counts like that, to take four on the number 4 team in this province, who have been having such a great year. That really was a little bit of a shocker. Still a long way to go, but again, definitely could be a turning point in this match and potentially in this tournament.
Well, you've been around here long enough, and I'm starting to get the hang of things. You know, curlers put that out of their mind, so that's pretty well what the same mentality here is: put it out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, and concentrate on the next end. The other one is done.
So now you're going to see Danielle's going to play the hit onto the top blue. It's really holding out a lot more than she probably wants, so it's going to get a hit on that back blue. Good result still. Sid cuts one out of the count.
Center line guard and a corner guard for MacDiarmid to go and hide behind. Marie Christensen, of course, her father Danny is the coach of this team. Their 5th member, Kelly Backman, Halifax Curling Club. Came in, as you talked about, the seedings, number 2, and right now, after 3 draws, they're sitting at the number 1 spot where you want to be. Still lots of curling left, but hoping to go 4-0 by the time draw number 4 comes to an end tonight.
Yeah, 4-0 really puts you in a really good position going into the playoff rounds come Saturday. But again, Julie, being that she really needs to get the win here, is going to still keep playing hard, because again, you got to keep on getting those wins in order to solidify a better position going into the later parts of the week in the playoffs.
Just my opinion alone, but I think that's a little bit too close to each other there, so.
Yeah, you're going to see Danielle go for another hit, try to get a few stones moving here.
Got to come over here, just a little bit out there, now starting to come. I think she'll just get one.
No, I think you're going to see both start to move. One will clear, but it opens up the other,
yes.
Which is a lot better position now for Julie. Now, she actually has a really good result with that stone of hers finishing up second shot. It forces Kristen to think about it a little bit more, and playing out to that area in the wings when the rocks haven't been curling as much as you may usually expect from fast ice. It could really be a bit of a tricky area of this sheet. Looks like it appears like Kristen's calling for the run back on that guard of hers. It's relatively straight in that area to get there.
Well, just as soon as that happens, and now she's coming down, so maybe second guessing here.
Yeah, the only worry about that is simply the distance of it. So, and also the fact that you've seen the rocks have held out a lot until the very end. So now you're going to see they've sort of changed the shot to try to go for the straight hit and stick, or at least roll out. So it's enough there that you could probably get to the nose of it. with how the rocks have been moving so far during this first half. If it overcurls, it also has the chance still to go for the plan B of playing your original plan A.
A little twist in her delivery there. Kristen McDermott here in 5.
Well, looks good out of her hand, so we'll try to see how far it goes there.
Yeah, light cleaning here from Coulter Woodworth. There's a jam. Push that yellow back.
That was a tough result there, and again, they kind of expected that type of a result out of that shot. Now you're probably going to need to see Julie play probably a hit and roll, try to get to be top 4, biting the button behind cover and really put some pressure on. If they can really lock down that button area, it would make it a really tough challenge going into the next few shots.
Yeah, that Kristen McDermott guard right along the center line there. You see it. That's the. They want to basically, as you mentioned, get that hit and roll in behind cover of that. Use the opposition stone to their benefit. McEvoy getting ready here for her first of 2 in end number 5.
And I guess the only worry here in this shot is simply in the fact that it could give a better opportunity for a run back for Kristen on her final. Sweeper's working on it here, trying to get it in just the right position.
More Thomas. Oh, plenty of room to get by. She might have a beauty of a shot here. Doesn't want to roll too far. Finishes back 4.
That may have rolled a little bit too far, because I think if you get a little bit to the inside of nose there, it's enough that you can get that double. And I had seen that if I were skipping this game, that looks like a very juicy shot, because it's pretty much straight on. You get to nose, you get the double, and you sit the 2.
Well, there you see it. It did come out the other side, so. And in curling terms, there is a big port that come through there.
So Julie's really going to hope for a hit and stick here, because if it sticks and clears past leaving her, the stone of Julie's as second shot, it would be a relatively easy hit and stick for the 2. But a double could completely take that out of the question.
Last rock, Kristen McDermott with hammer and 5. Easily through the port, 1, and she'll just get that 1.
So there, as we expected, Julie's going to go for the hit and stick. It appears it would be at least for 1, pretty close on the second, but I do favor Team McEvoy for that second point. They are a bit questionable there. Oh, looks like they did signal like it would be Kristen McDermott's over there on the other side. Tough result there for the McEvoy ring.
We await the throw here from Julie McEvoy in number 5. She hits a hammer here. Hoping to hit into the 5th in break with a little bit of optimism and positivity here. She throws her last year in number 5. And the sweeper's working hard. I put it right there. Now take a look once again.
Appears to just be the single, so a 5-2 lead for Kristen McDermott. Oh, it looks like they on the scoreboard they have 2 up there, so
2 points here for McEvoy.
Good result for Julie.
Yeah, climbing her way back, so 5-3 as we're heading into the 5th end break. And John, we'll just quickly summarize what we've seen here for the first half. Teams were pretty even, and lots of hitting going on, and the steal of 4 there by McDermott and 4 pretty well the difference maker so far. But I said that the McEvoy team, they're a bunch of cardiac kids, and they're clawing their way back into it, and now they're definitely have a game here, only down by 2 after 5.
Yeah, it's been pretty tight for both teams. Even with that 4 in the 4th end of play, it's still going to be a tight game. If Julie's able to force a single out of Kristen in 6, it can really put some pressure on.
All right, we're going to step out here. We'll be back in about 4 minutes with the second half of this one between McDermott and McEvoy. You're watching Bell 5 TV 1. Welcome back to second half coverage here between Team McDiarmid playing the Blue Handled Stones 3-0 versus Team Julie McEvoy 1-2, the Yellow Stones. My name's Dan Hobson, alongside John Seitman, of course, curling aficionado, and you know, the amount of curling information that you could memorize, my friend, is just fantastic. You know, just right off the top of your head. It's, so we've had a chance to sit here and watch this one. Pretty well. You take away that fourth end, and it's anybody's game, but a big steal of 4. But McEvoy climbing back in, only down by 2 as we underway here in the 6th.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a really tight match, even with that 4 points, and both teams have been curling extremely well. Julie, though, she's 1-2 in this tournament. She's really showing why her and her team are the number 4 team in this province, and we're the A qualifiers coming into this event. A long way to go so far, but still playing extremely well. Probably needs a steal here in this 6th end to get back into it, but really close, even down by 2.
We've seen some teams throughout the championships, both on the men and the women's side. All of a sudden, one team, give up like a crooked number is a term that I like to use, and sometimes it has actually worked to their benefit because they get a little more relaxed, and the next thing you know, they're almost like right there on the doorstep or even taking over. So leads, of course, early in the first half, really hard to maintain with the free guard zone in the second. So, and a good bounce back, especially, when they gave up 4, they came back with a 2, and, it was one of those biters in the back 12, and you and I weren't sure whether it was, which stone it was, and for their benefit, McEvoy ended up scoring the 2 there in the 5th, and it's once again back to a 2-point game, and here we are in the 6th, and still anybody's game.
So for this one here, you're going to see Sheena's going to want to try to bury one. As probably, I believe they were looking for about top 8 to top 4 weight. If they can get just behind the guards really nice, it would put a lot of pressure on and put it in a really good position. It is going to need to come down now.
Not too bad a shot here. Of course, they had the 5th end break on sheet E. That's Brothers versus Breen. Both out of the Mayflower Curling Club. And just before they went to the 5th end break, Brothers ended up scoring 2 and takes a 5-3 lead as they get back underway in that matchup.
Yeah, those two teams have seen a lot of each other the past few Scotties Tournament of Hearts provincials, having, I believe, the past 2 times, it was semifinals and a finals. So they definitely know a little bit about each other going into this 3rd year of this format.
Yeah, Brothers 2-1 coming into that one, and 1-2 for Breen, and Breen would like to prevent that 3rd loss, and she's got a little bit of work to do to prevent that. Sheena Moore.
So now Sheena's really going to want to try to play this as tight behind the guard as possible. But, okay, it's probably with the weight, I didn't really as much see the call. They're actually guarding the stone at the top of the 8. Really good result. Gets that completely guarded, so it's going to force a peel out of the Kristen McDiarmid rink.
As this one makes its way down, we're going to update you on Sheet C. That's also another game that Bell 5 TV1s have cameras and commentators on. And right now, Pinckney, the former Team Gamble, doing pretty good right now over Ladiseur. It's 4-2. Yep, 4-2 as they play on. And Arsenault up 5-3 over Nancy Delahunt, the Colleen Jones team.
Yeah, that Colleen Pinckney rink has had a few changes there. Of course, adding the World Senior Champion Pinckney at skip, playing, I believe, lead stones, if I remember correctly. And then you have the former provincial junior champion Mary McKetton Driscoll slotting in at fourth stones, and it has truly been playing really well this tournament. Still, again, even though they're 1-2, just like Julie McEvoy, they are very much still in this tournament.
So here we are in the sixth, and a couple of stones belonging to the respective teams. Shot rock belonging to McDiarmid. They're going to, of course, make a play on that Yellowstone in the front 8. Marie Christensen with a port to come through. Put some gas on this one here. Come through that port. No problem. Bang. And a roll. And just like that, now McDiarmid lying 3.
Yeah, extremely good result for Kristen McDiarmid, and especially with the way that the guards are placed, it really puts a lot of pressure on Julie McEvoy and her rink. It's pretty lined up that they could probably get 2 of those blue moving if they wanted to try to play a run, which it looks like they're going to do. You can pretty much get to the nose of that stone of theirs at the top of the 12-foot. You probably get the one at the top 8 and the one on the left of your screen moving, and then you could potentially get some movement on that back one if you play it just right.
Cannon of a throw on its way here from Danielle Parsons. And they tried, but they ended up removing the yellow, and the shooter goes out of play as well. So,
and that was one of those ones where nerves probably got a little bit into that shot. You needed to have just that precise weight to get to the nose, and maybe sometimes when you just grip the rock a little bit and maybe start thinking about what's on that scoreboard, it can really put you under a little bit more pressure than you probably should be.
Something about numbers on a board that just all of a sudden it plays with your psyche.
And I guess even here, he, on the other side, having a miss right through a very tight port. Now it gives a few options for Julie on her first. As we'll see a timeout called.
Giveth and taketh away. Bruce Lonis will make his way down. Team McEvoy's coach, Danny Christensen, also up here, will make his way down. So in a few moments, you will see them appear on your screen.
So it's a very interesting situation here. They're looking at how do they get the right roll to get it just as effective as they can and try to get a few rocks moving. You can, from this angle, it does look like the double is definitely there. The question is, where do you get it so that they roll so that it puts you in a better position to potentially steal?
Bruce said, "A heck with changing jackets here," because he is also the coach with Jamie Murphy. He said, "A heck with the changing jackets. I'll just in case of a jacket switch or something." So I said, "I'll just take it off. It'll just make it so easier."
Yeah, he's definitely been putting in a lot of very long hours in this tournament between those two teams, and truly, you have to be on your game as a coach almost as much as your players on the ice. So it looks like they've settled on probably, it appears, I would see that being probably a double. The only worry is with the top one, if you hit it just the right angle thin, it would potentially jam on that back blue and still leave a blue in the rings in a very protected position.
So both Danny Christensen and Bruce Lowe's can go back sort of into relaxed mode. Back in their chairs, they're back upstairs and behind the glass. Of course, our broadcast location. McEvoy's throw here at 6. So through that port. 1, 2, but they'll nose hit that other one. So, and will that yellow, can it spin back around? No, it will not.
And that was a very tough result now, because now that pretty much places that stone on the far left of your screen pretty much behind cover completely. So now Kristen has the ability to draw another one tight behind that guard of Julie McEvoy's and potentially sit her 3 as long as she gets it like we'd expect her to make. She's been really playing well on those draw shots all throughout this game.
It's good to be on top, and she wants to stay there. McDiarmid, as you mentioned, 3-0 coming into this one. First of 2 on the way, and 6. Up by 2. And you can hear them going hard here. Front end working hard. Walter Woodworth. And they'll stick it there in just a little bit off the center line. And set 3, as you mentioned.
Yeah, so that really puts it in a very tough position here now for Julie. She really needs to get that draw behind the guard of hers and the stone at the top of the 12-foot, almost biting the 8. The question is, what is the right ice there to throw with it, because it has been playing a bit tight. So they did move it in a bit more to try to get that curl across the center line.
Big spot right now here. Seems like it's been most of her shots here in this game been facing multiple stones of McDiarmid's, and pretty well status quo, or once again. Of course, this is her second with
throwing a lot early.
Yeah.
And that was a really tough miss there. You really couldn't come up light, because now that pretty much gives an open draw for 4 to really just blow this game wide open.
once again, things close to our broadcast location get a little bit more quiet.
It's just truly one of those games that Kristen McDermott has been playing extremely well along with the rest of her team. And if you have a team like that that is not making errors, even the least bit of a mistake can make a huge difference. And there's been those few that have really had a factor in this contest.
Final stone here for McDermott, here in 6. Slight brushing, not taking any chances on this one. There it is. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. 9-3. We head to the 7th. Definitely, we were like really expecting like close. Like I'm sort of like the audience here. Like I'm really shocked. You know.
Yeah, we really expected a very tight match, and it just ends 4 and 6. Kristen really just capitalized on a few very tight misses. When you have battles between these two teams, and between any of these top 4 in the province, even the tiniest bit of a mistake can really cause a game to completely shift. So now it pretty much...
well, you see, clean mode here. They'll just throw this one through.
Yeah, being that this is the 7th end, we did see during the last game, if I remember correctly, there was the game that ended after... There was a game that ended after 7 ends. So we could potentially see a final very early here. It's going to be extremely tough for Julie to set up any offense. Even with the free guard zone, once the 4 rocks of the free guard zone pass, you're going to start to see a lot of really good peel weight shots. And when you're playing a team like Kristen McDermott, you're not going to get very many misses out of them when they start hitting.
Well, of course, they'll continue to play on and, you know, basically do the best that you can. And once again, they'll just throw this one through.
So again, it pretty much forces now that Julie's again going to have to try to set up another corner guard, try to get it placed just nice so that it could at least open up some opportunity. Once it gets back to Kristen, she's going to start hitting.
Guess we'll put another guard up here by Jill Thomas. One on each side of the sheet. And before it even comes to a rest, McDermott wants to get rid of that long guard just thrown by Thomas.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest one for them to hit. So again, start the peels. It's going to start to go fast. Pretty much Kristen will be almost counting down the rocks as much as she can. Not taking any chances with any rock, because if it's a rock in play, it's a rock that could count against you.
And she had a 7-4 loss, McEvoy did, to Colleen Jones to start, and then a loss to Marion Arsenault. And I said it this afternoon on this women's draw that I said this is you know, for McEvoy, doesn't really want to go 0-3 coming into tonight, and got the win over Colleen Pinckney to come in at 1-2. And as I say, it's just, I just really think that 3 losses in this is just going to be really tough for like playoffs. It's just
you rarely see a team make it out of anything less than 4-3. It's almost impossible. So again, even especially once they changed the way that they did the playoff format, where now it's only the top 3 that qualify, even the chance at a tiebreaker makes it very, very slim.
Well, you mentioned tiebreaker, like right now, before coming in tonight, second place was a tie with Arsenault Brothers and Jones at 2 and 1.
And now you're getting scenarios there where it's pretty tight for Brothers, and Arsenault is up in her game over on B.
Brothers and Breen are now even.
And in our other feature game, a barn burner going on sheet C. Isabelle Ladouceur took a single in end number 6. 4-3 lead for Colleen Pinckney, but Ladouceur looking pretty good, sitting, I believe, about 3 over there.
Yeah, because with Marianne Arsenault and Colleen Jones are Nancy Del Hunt, of course. Del Hunt running the show here at the championships for Colleen. As Colleen's going to be going off to do some Olympic duty, so she just decided to throw third stone here at this event. So I mean, already one of those teams that is in the 2-1 right now is going to basically drop out of that picture.
Yeah.
So you're going to just have a tiebreaker of just 2 teams, and as you mentioned, like just the top 3, move on. So.
Yeah, like with a loss, Team Jones would probably really have a very tough position, unless you'd have to pretty much have Arsenault or Brothers drop a game later in the tournament. Which, again, those 2 teams, as they get rolling, they really are very tough to beat.
Parsons here in 7.
Yeah, it's just really cool to see all across the 4 sheets here at the Dartmouth Curling Club the vast amount of ages and experience. You have everything from champions from multiple provinces. You have some of the young rising stars, and you have some former world champions on the ice, both at the junior level, the national level, the world level. It's amazing to see the strong level of play here in Nova Scotian women's curling. And in the men's curling over in the Deloitte Tankard, it's been equally as impressive this week.
They get a nose hit, but that's well outside on the wings here. So we're moving right along here in end number 7. Second throw from Danielle Parsons.
Yeah, pretty much at this point now, Danielle has to play into the rings. You have to get one buried as much as you can to really put some pressure on.
That yellow one is coming up, and boy, when it rains, it pours, eh?
Yeah, sometimes you just have those games, and unfortunately for Julie, at this late stage in the round robin, you really didn't want to have that type of game be this game tonight.
Well, we've done a lot of games here throughout the championship so far, and one of the terms that everybody uses is pretty well like a marathon, and so this, of course, is the first day that the women have had. Pardon me, I was going to say that, but I'm wrong on that. This is actually the second of back-to-back 2 draws a day.
Yeah, and now that it will give a little bit of a rest for the women tomorrow, as they only have 1 game here.
Yeah.
As the men will play the 2 games at 9 and I believe at 9 and 7. So it gives a little bit of a chance to recover before a 2-game day to finish up the round robin.
Push the blue, and once again, things clean here in 7.
So Julie pretty much put the broom down pretty quickly. She really needs to get that draw behind the corner guard as best she can.
Might not have seen it on camera, but she had flashed a little bit of a smile, so it's, just realizing that sometimes, that in this sport, you're all of a sudden, it's just not your game, and, have, just maybe a half missed shot here and there. And
sometimes the smallest bit of pebble can be the difference between a win and a loss, and unfortunately the ice has not been on the side of the Julie McEvoy rink so far through 6.
Yeah, you take away the 4th and the 6th, and it's a different story here in this one. They may have a nice one here. Not much place to hide, so they will put it in behind cover on that yellow on the side wings there to line 1.
Yeah, that was definitely a pretty good result. It's really tough to get at, so I really don't know what you're probably going to see. Kristen will try to play down to that stone. If you can almost sort of maybe Christmas tree it, or so to speak, and sit
I've
shot
heard
stone.
that term a lot today.
Yeah, I think you've heard
Karen Skiffington. I've heard that term a lot. Now, explain that term to me.
Okay, so Christmas tree is almost when you try to freeze it, where if a rock is sitting like it is there, it's almost diagonally frozen onto that rock. It makes it really tough to move, and sometimes can make it that if you try to take it out, it can create jam opportunities that would leave the stone that was frozen still in the house. You would think that almost a month after Christmas that you would stop hearing about Christmas trees, but in curling you hear that a lot.
Well, for every time I come to an event like this, I always learn a new term, and that's my term for the day.
So it did go a little bit further than they wanted, so that opens up an opportunity now for Julie to play down to that.
Eventually, you hang around with curling people and you pick up a vast encyclopedia of words. And that's the case here so far. I've heard people say, "Oh, that was a miss." No, it wasn't. It was a flash. Christmas tree effect.
Yeah. Actually, the funniest thing there, when you look at some of the curlers at the national level, one of the players who used to play for Steve Laycock was Colton Flash. So it got funny when commentators would say, "Flash flashes the shot there."
Could have used like the flash squared or.
Sweepers working on this here. They really need to get it by that guard.
Lots of heart here on this McEvoy team. Push that in.
Still gets the one, but it will be the game.
Yeah, single point here for McEvoy, and they will shake hands here. So Kristen McDermott will move to 4-0 after a 9-4 win over Julie McEvoy. She drops to 1-3. So basically, of course, we've got other games taking place, but after 4 draws, Kristen McDermott out of the Halifax Curling Club sitting on top of the standings, 4-0. And Arsenault and Brothers just right on her heels as of now. And the last that we looked, Brothers and Breen are even, and Arsenault is ahead of Jones. So those stay. All of a sudden, the pack is starting to break away from the rest of the field, John.
Yeah, you really start to see once you get to this late in the game and in the tournament, the field starts to really separate as who will be the playoff contenders and who will be looking from the outside looking in. Truly, Kristen McDermott has been showing that she can really contend, and the others are really just looking to try to come back and get back into this event, looking for almost looking for second and third this early.
Yeah. So that will wrap it up here. Krista McDermott out of the Halifax Curling Club with her lead of Julia Coulter, Liz Woodworth, Mary Christensen, Kristen McDermott to skip, and their fifth member, Kelly Backman, coached by Danny Christensen. Defeat Julie McEvoy, Jill Thomas, Sheena Moore, Danielle Parsons, Julie McEvoy, and of course Bruce Lonis out of the CFB Curling Club 9-4. John, been a pleasure as always, and I think we're going to be working a game tomorrow, so we'll look forward to talking to you tomorrow night.
Yeah, looking forward to talking with you too, Dan, and looking forward to, for our viewers to keep watching some excellent curling here at the Dartmouth Curling Club.
Yep, so if everybody wants to find out the results of the games that are taking place right now, you'll have to go to nscurl.com, live stat updates, to find out how things finish here. But that will wrap things up here on Sheet D. Thank you once again to Sean Senertol. Fantastic job throughout the day. So for my producer, Sean Senertol, and my broadcast colleague, John Slightman, and the entire Bell 5 TV1 family, we say so long and good night from the Dartmouth Curling Club. You've been watching the 2018 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts on your curling leader here, Bell 5 TV1. Good night, folks.